Hello everyone. We are a couple of weeks away from releasing the model editor publicly, and I'm recording this video to show you all the improvement that we have made and kind of your last chance to give feedback and test the work in progress version before we release it to everyone. I'm going to use the larger Revit sample model this time. I use the Pollination plugin, the Revit plugin, to export it or save the snapshot. I didn't try to do any editing in Revit, so this is how the model comes. I just added this room, the hallway on top, because it was missing, and it's hard to draw this in the model editor right now. Something like that. Everything else is just there. So I'm going to show you how you can use the model editor to fix a model like this quickly. So before I get started, I'm going to turn off roofs and turn off shades so they don't show up. It just makes things cleaner and easier. So the first thing is columns. You know, like you have these columns in the model, they're usually room bounding. They will show up in your model. You can change them in Revit, but if you can't, or if they're in a linked model, so just leave them like that when you create the snapshot. Then you come here, there's a command for removing small holes, and you can say whatever hole is smaller than this area. So I put 10 square feet, and then you can run it, and that should remove all of them. And to be clear, like I have all the 3 levels visible and none of them are locked. So I'm just making these edits on the whole model right now. And then I will move to just making edits on every floor at some point to just show you, like, you can do level by level 2. But there are edits like this that's easy to do, like all the way for the whole model. So okay, then there is this thing here. You can see these ones because they're on the edge, they're not in the center, so you remove hole is not going to remove them. There is another one here, not this one, the other one. Come on, selector. Here, this guy here. So for this, I can use this command called remove short segment. It basically goes through the model and removes any short segment that's smaller than this distance. So 1 foot for now, for this one, run, and it's removed. Now you see when it's removed, because there was this inset here and it's removed. Now you have these 2 additional vertices here. And it also happens that when you get a model, there's some solve adjacency somewhere, or like the way it's modeled in Revit, you will get segments and you want to clean it up. The command for that is this one, join coplanar faces. You just click and then it finds all the coplanar faces and merges them. So I'm going to run this join coplanar faces command on the whole model, and I'm going to reset all the adjacencies, so everything is set to outdoor, everything is cleaned up now. It's a good starting point. This is something that you should probably do when you get the first version of the model. And now for these ones, I'm going to select everything on all the floors and then run this again and run this. So one limitation that we have now in the viewer is when you select multiple rooms, when you select one, you see the vertices. When you select multiple, you do not see the vertices. This is something that we are working on to improve. Okay, then the next thing that we have added is, so for a case like this, before, if you wanted to fix it, you had to create an alignment line and then align one to another. You can still do that, but you can also do this, that you select a room on this side. Let me actually get closer to see. Yeah, okay, so you see, well done. In generally, like in this model, and in all the Revit models that I have seen, people use the what's that, separation lines very like an artist, like very freehand everywhere. You see, like, I mean, if you think I'm exaggerating because of that, just see this here. Just what is this? So yeah, like if you go in the model, you will see just they drew like this alignment lines, and not alignment, separation lines, and they just didn't bother to just maybe align them in the different levels. And I think for an architectural documentation model, that's fine. So I understand why they did it that way. But then it's a problem when you come here. So that's where you want to use alignment. So let me give me 1 second. So the first thing is, let me remove this here too. So you already know these commands, so I'm not going to talk about them again. And yes, we will fix this using the alignment. But let me go back here, and maybe before I doing that, then I still have to do this. Let me do this, and I'm going to align this guys here. Just I want to have a clean starting point. I could have aligned everything, of course, like select every room, but here I want to show you another command that we added. It's called pull to room. So you can select one room and then you can select other rooms. I'm holding down shift while selecting multiple. And then with pull room command, excuse me, it basically pulls all the rooms to the first room as long as they are within the pull distance, right? So this is 1 feet. Again, the reason I know 1 feet is a good number because this grid is now half a feet, and I can see it's around 0.6. And I run this and it came down here. So you can change the grid size from here. Right click grid size. So if I want to say like 0.8, you can see like 1. So I do half a feet, and I pretend I know what is half a feet. Okay, so that was the pull to room. Then the other command that people ask for, and this one I should show it level by level probably, is how to add a room in empty areas when it's missing. I can show you that. Before that, let me go and fix that mess here. So the way to fix this is you select the room that you think is the right place. You try to find a segment and move your mouse to go to the middle of that segment. Then you double click and it adds an alignment line there. This is important. Don't select a room that's not cracked, right? Like then everything will be aligned based on that. So again, like you can do it with any room. So I can select this one, move my mouse almost to the middle, double click, and then it selected that. So what I can do, I can basically select all the rooms that are next to this alignment line. And because I'm selecting an alignment line, this command shows up here. And I put 1 feet and I run it, or 1 foot, and I run it, and you can see this is fixed. I'll do the same thing on the other side. So just try to get a good place. And now I'm going to select everything. And these are the commands that I would do in the whole building level, all the levels together first before going level by level. Because if you do level by level, you might end up like, having this small segments between the levels. You don't want that to happen. So run again. And that's also cleaned up. Okay, now let's go to first level and try to deal with these missing rooms and all those stuff. This is similar to what we had on the other side. This is a good opportunity to show you another thing that we added. So by the other method that I showed, it just adds an infinite line. So that's not great all the time because your room, this is, for example, is a very long room, right? And then you might have cases that you don't want everything being aligned. You just want this part to be aligned. So you can use down here. There is an alignment line command. This allows you to draw alignment line. So you can click on an edge and it will create alignment line on that edge, or you can click and drag. When you drag, you just can extend it, right? And I click on this to get out of that. So now I have a local alignment line. You can then start moving this alignment line, like wherever you need. It's editable. You can even move the vertices if needed. But then we still don't have necessarily the best snapping. That's something also that we're working on. For now, what you can do, you can offset it. So you can click here, select this and offset. So this is minus 0.3. Let's see if it works. Okay, I need a plus for this one. So I'm going to offset this again. Do 0.3, run, and now that's in the center. So what I can do here, now I can select all this, and I can use the same thing. This is a little bit big, but here I see there's nothing around, so it should be safe. And that's the good thing about this local version, right? You know the damage is going to be very local if there is any damages. There are any damages. Okay, so that's that. I showed you that. You can do the same here, for example. I'm not going to do it in this video for now, but I'm going to move to start like focusing on the first story and talk about how you can place rooms. So I go here on stories. I'm going to turn off the two layers, and this is something that might not make a lot of sense, or is different from other tools that you have used. When you turn off the visible, they get locked by default, so they don't show up, they also lock. So when you turn them back on, you have to make sure to unlock that. Something that we can probably improve in the near future. Okay, now this is the first story. Let me take a pause and then I'll come back for this. Okay, so we made the global edits. Now I'm going to first level 1, and one of the things that we didn't have before was placing a new room. So in this case you had to align this here, but if you want to create a new room now you can select these rooms here, and then select this command called create boundary. There are 3 modes, like you can get the whole outline and the holes. You can exclude the holes and you can only get the holes. For this one I want only the holes, so I just run it and the hole should be here. And when I select this, because this is a closed line or a polyline, it gives me an option to create a room, and I can click here and I can name this room and then create it. By default it uses the story height. You can change this where the room is located, so you can change the elevation where the room is located and the height of the room. I'm going to leave it to default to show you something. So every time you create a room like this, you want to check that. So I create it, now the room is placed there. I can go ahead and delete this polyline that we created. So if I go here in rooms now, I see the shaft here, and you can see the room height is set to 24 point some number, and this is because we have one room in this level with that height. It picks the highest one, and that room is here. This is why, because this is higher, it's like a double height. So you can edit that. I can go here, select this, and then come back here and paste it. So this is a new feature. Also, you can edit the room elevation and room height, and you can of course add a room now in your model. That's something that I wanted to show. You can do that here. You can do the alignment. You can also fix this. Now let me go to second level and show you something else, another approach that we can do. So let me go to second, and this is what I said. Like when I go to second, it becomes visible, but it's still locked. I have to unlock it, and I'm going to hide the entry level. So the other thing that we have heard people say a lot is, okay, I come to this, and this is fairly clean, right? And I mean, or we cleaned it up. And you have this stuff, you have this here, you know, you have this here missing, and you just don't want to spend all the time to clean this up. You just want to get the what's it called, the envelope, right? You just want to do a shell model quickly. So for that, let me do a 3D visualization here to make it easier to understand. So for that one, what you can do, you can use the same command that I showed for generating holes, but this time before that, you can basically come here. Actually, no, like for this one, let's do this. So what you can do, you can just select the whole thing, and there is a command here called merge rooms. And what merge room does, it tries to merge the rooms together, and there is a tolerance or merge distance here. So you can say whatever is smaller than this, just ignore it and try to merge it. Why is it important? Because I have cases like this one here, right? I have cases like this one here, and I don't want to clean them up. I just want to quickly get out of this. So here, merge rooms, run, and done. So it basically merges all the rooms. I had two missing rooms, because of that I get those holes. So let me go and visualize this again. And now you see what happened. So the facade, everything is as clean as it needs to be. If you are in Energy Model watching this and you say, oh, there are so many windows here, can I merge them? Yes, you can. Like, that's part of the Revit plugin. I did not, but you can do that. That's not a problem. So I'm going to use this command now to remove, and probably 10 is not enough, so I do 100, like a larger area threshold. And here you go, that's also moved. So this is my facade, right? And that's the place that you now want to select this, run this again for cleanup. And you can take this now and do the shell perimeter offset. But if you want, we also added the perimeter command here, split core. Before I use this, I usually go ahead and clean up stuff like this. I can use it as is. So let me do this so you can see. But then it may or may not work depending on the angle. So let's make a smaller number. Let's say 3 feet for perimeter, and then run it. So you see it didn't work. This is happening because when the edges are too small, I think the algorithm is failing, and this is again something on our end that we can improve. But for now, what you need to do is, if you just do a quick cleanup of the facade, I think for this one, this is the one that's causing the issue. Let me zoom in so you see where so these are the parts that are problematic. And then again I do this. And someone told me once why I show this stuff that are not perfect in the video, because I think this matters, so you know, so you can get it to work, and we work on making things better. So this is still, let me, here we go, and now it works. So those are probably the reason for thing. Again, something on us to make better, but if you don't, then you end up like this. And what you can do, you can actually select them and use the merge room that I don't know if I showed it, yes, for merge room. So you can basically use that now to edit. So that was merge and split, and of course you can use merge for just part of the room. So let's, maybe a good time to move to 3rd floor. So I make this the current one. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to unlock this. Hello. So unlock this. Okay. So for the 3rd floor, what are the things that I want to show? So yeah, like for example, we can come here and see these are all instruction rooms, right? How many do they have? Like many of them. So I can select all of this, and then I can merge them. And now it's called instruction. It picks, if I'm not mistaken, the one with the larger area for the name. But if you want, you can also go here and here, select it. So this is the room. Again, I can call it instruction south, or maybe I call it instruction rooms, something that shows that these are merged. So I showed merge room 2. I think the only 2 things left here to show. One is we added a command to rebuild the apertures for case that the apertures don't come, or skylights don't come cleanly. So this is the case. Let me show you that. So here you can see the skylights are not didn't come out the best, right? Because, and this is something that we cover in our video tutorial because of how they are modeled in Revit. So to clean this up now, I can select this here, and then I can do rebuild apertures and run, and then it basically goes, and all the apertures that are overlapping, it merges them together. So this is also cleaned up. Last but not least, something that people ask for, mostly I think Corey asked for it for all the ISVE users, is the models are not necessary on a grid, and when you export them to ISVE, that can be a problem for the way you edit the models. So what you can do, let me bring the whole thing back. Select all of them from here, unlock them, lock and unlock. And for some reason this unlock is not my friend today. Oh, because they're not visible, I can't change it. My bad. Yeah, this is something that we have to make it better. So now that I have all the rooms, I can select all of them, and there is a command here to snap to grid. So let me zoom in so you can see what happens. I'm going to select all rooms and lines, and then I'm going to use the snap to grid command. I have to move this viewer out of the way. Close it. So snap to grid. And this again asks you about the size. This is not necessarily uses the visualization. We decided to separate them because you might want to have a different visualization, and then when you snap to grid you want a different size. So in this case I'm going to put half a foot. So now if I run it, you'll see what happens. So now all the rooms are snapped within whatever that number you put there. So that should cover almost everything that I wanted to cover. This model is now exportable. You can also run validation if you want, and all the stuff. Of course, there are areas that I have to work on and fix, but just so you see how it works, you just do the validation. If there is an error, it shows up here, and you can basically see where the error happens. So the error here is missing adjacency, and it's happening for those core and shell rooms that I built because I didn't solve adjacency. So I can select everything and do, you know, solve adjacency and run it again. And now if I run validation, the model should be valid. If you want to export the model, it's up here. You can export to HPJSON, GEM, IMB, IDF, and RAD right now, and we have more that you can export from Revit. This is the area that will be improved before the public release. And then if you would like to save your changes, click on this save. So it basically saves everything, that all the changes that you made. Otherwise they will not be saved until, I mean, they will be saved in your session, but if you close and open a new file, they will be gone. Okay, I hope this gives you a good idea of all the commands that we have. Again, the discourse post has a documentation for every single command. The things that we are working on, we are adding a split room command. You will see in the documentation this pull to room is actually much more capable. We didn't develop it for a case like this. We developed it for cases that are not really, it's really hard to work with alignment. Let me actually show a video here. So this is the one, for example. So when you have two rooms like this, that's the place that you can use something like aligning room to another one. We are, let me actually read from here. So we have rebuilt, sorry. Yes, a split room, subtract room is another one. Generate alignment lines is something that will not be right in the public release, but we will do, so you don't have to draw them. Basically, it can automatically be generated. This is already implemented. And we are also working on a snapshot manager, so you can open multiple snapshots and just merge them here in the model editor in case you clean up a model level by level. Oh, one last thing to show. So one of the things that people ask for us, let me go to the second level again, make this current, remove this. One of the other things that people asked for was having cases that basically they have to adjust the envelope, because like we get the center of the external wall. Some of the codes want you to be inside the wall, some wants to be outside the wall. So what you can do now, I select all of this. You can use the same one, create boundary command that we use to generate holes. You can now use this and you can actually go exclude holes, doesn't matter in this case. So I want to get the outside boundary of this floor. So I just run this, right? And it generates this curve, right, all the way around. And what I can do now, I can offset this curve, let's say for something of a foot, 0.2, 30 centimeters. Maybe I do 0.5 is around 15 centimeters of a foot. So I run this, now I have this new line, and what you can do now is you can select all of this, and similar to what we did with the alignment command, now you can basically align all the rooms to that. This is something that we are actively working to improve, because it's not as easy as you think with like depending on geometry, but it works. It works pretty well. So run, now you see that is done, that is done. So this is the part that it didn't do great. Probably because the number that I put wasn't large enough. So this is also done. This is again here. So the number that I put wasn't, I had to put a larger number. So let me select all the ones. Here you go. So as simple as that. Like these are the things that takes a lot of work, right, to do manually. And now you can do as quickly as this. You can basically create the boundary, offset it outward or offset it inward, use the alignment, done. Then your code compliance report is happy. Yeah, as I said, let us know what do you think should be added. We are actively working on this. This is the best time to ask for new features, and they will most likely, if reasonable, will be in the first release. Thank you so much.